Hello Genesis, Dad here today, and I want to make a video talking about the poor financial decisions that I've made over my course of life, ranging around age 16 to about 31. And I just want to go over it, so I'm hoping that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Now, there's a lot of videos previous to this that I talk about a few things like a car and a house and other things and necessities, which kind of all tie into what I'm talking about today. So what I'm trying to say is, from the age of about 16 to the age of about 31, I probably made about $1 million. Now, when you see this, I don't know what $1 million is going to be a lot to you or not, but realistically, just straight off the bat, from 2012 to 2020 or 2019, I never set up my taxes properly so that I would be able to save the most money. Now, you might say, well, what are taxes? And I can make another video about this, but it's a amount that you pay from what you make, and you give that to the government, and the government uses that money for roads and schools and other things. You don't really get a say in what it goes to, but it's something you're required to pay. And if you don't pay and you don't set up a payment plan and you ignore the government, which is also called the IRS, which is the Internal Revenue Service, they will start coming after your belongings. And if you don't have any belongings, they will put you in jail. That's how it works. So based off what you make is the percent of taxes that you pay. Now, if you have if you're a self-employed person, you pay two different taxes. You pay an income tax and you pay a self-employment tax. So you pay a lot more in taxes if you are self-employed. Ways to pay less taxes is to write off items that you use that are pertaining to your work. Let's just say I am a website developer, so I buy a computer. Computer's $2,000. I made $100,000. That means I made $98,000. So you only pay taxes on the $98,000 instead of the $100,000. So now you might say, well, that's not much savings. It's not really, but if it gets you into a lower tax bracket, then it helps. There's different tax brackets for how much you make. So getting yourself into a lower tax bracket percentage is vital to save money. So let's get into the premise of this video, which is, why did I waste so much money and what money do I have now? So realistically, if I paid off all my debt, I sold my house, and had no car and no house, I would have about $60,000 to $75,000. That's it. So out of the $1 million I made, I say about $200,000 to $250,000 went to taxes over the course of that time period of 2010 to 2023. I'm trying to get over it, so busy. Into 2025, sorry. And yet I have not even finished paying my 24s or 25s, and I'm about to pay my 22s and 23s. So if you're talking about from 2010 to 2025, it's about $200,000 to $250,000 in taxes, which is a lot of money. Back in the days, that could buy you a house. Obviously, it can't really get you much now, but back in the days, that's what it could get you. So there's that money there. Over the course of from 2008 to 2025, I bought and leased over 26 vehicles. Now, a lot of these vehicles I made money on, but some of them I didn't. Some of them I broke even, but when you buy a item, you realize that you have to pay taxes on an item. So let's say you buy a car for $30,000. You then have to pay 7% tax or 7.5% tax on that item when you buy it. Same with anything that you purchase in a store, a house, a car, anything that has taxes. With a house, you have taxes per month. You have taxes per year divided by 12 to each month, which is still incredibly expensive. So that being said, when you buy a car for $30,000 and you have 7% in taxes, that's like over $2,000 just in taxes there. So every time I bought a car and registered it, which I didn't do that to all my cars, I had to pay taxes. So that's a loss. Any repairs I've done on the car, that costs money. Any maintenance I've done on the car, that costs money. Now, most of my cars I didn't do a lot of maintenance on. so that's good. But evidently, even though I might have made money on a couple of cars, all the taxes and everything, after all 26 cars, I probably lost like, I'd say, I know definitely my Corvette I just sold recently, I lost a bunch of money on the blue one, but I probably lost about $50,000 just in cars. So now we're talking about $300,000 gone. So now let's talk about every time. So I owned 7 houses. I rented technically 3 houses, and I lost 2 houses. So in the 2 houses that I lost $13,000 and I lost $33,000. So that's almost $50,000 right there. So now we're at $400,000 lost. So now let's talk about the realtor fees from the other 7 houses or whatever. That's at least another $100,000. So that's $500,000 gone. So now you say, well, where's the rest of the $500,000? Between mortgage payments, between taxes payments on houses, and then buying necessities, whether it's food or stuff that I need for the house. And then there's luxury items. So after all that, at the end of the day, there's like $60,000 left if I sold everything. Maybe a little more, depending on things. But that's realistically what it is. So now that you know what I've been through, now I can give you advice. And one of the things I talked about in another video, which was staying with your parents as long as possible, meaning me, to live at home and contribute to the household that you live in versus renting. Renting is a waste. However, if you rent a house, it's not as much as a waste as an apartment. Because if you rent a house, there's a high percentage that person renting the house, if you talk about possibly purchasing it beforehand, may sell you the home. So that's one thing, right? Another thing is that buying a house, if you don't plan on staying in it for more than 10 years, is a colossal waste of money. Because, let me explain to you, 80% of your payment of your house, when you first buy it, the first 10 years, goes strictly to interest. Let's say you bought a house for $500,000. You put down $100,000, which is 20%. That means you're loaning $400,000. A mortgage is 30 years. In 30 years, you would have paid $800,000 instead of $400,000 because you borrowed $400,000 for 30 years, and with the interest compounded was an extra $400,000 in interest. Also realize what you're going to be paying over 30 years is the taxes on the property. Also what you're paying over the 30 years is the maintenance on the house. A house could be a good investment, but it also could be a very bad investment. Because if you buy houses when they're low, in 30 years, chances are your house is going to be worth a lot more. If you buy your house high and it goes down, chances are in 30 years, your house isn't going to double. It's just what it is. Now, it's plausible, definitely is, but that's not guaranteed. So buying a house when you cannot afford a house isn't ideal. If you can afford a house, it's best to pay off your house as soon as possible. Why? So you can avoid paying as much interest as possible. If you pay off your house in 15 years instead of 30 years, your interest is cut almost more than half of what you would pay. So ideally, it's best to pay off a house as soon as possible. So what does that mean? Well, if you pay off a house as soon as possible, that doesn't mean you don't have any expenses. You still have electric, you still have water, you still have cable, and if you have gas in your house, you also have gas to pay. You also have, if you live in an HOA, you pay your HOA fees. If you live anywhere, you still have to pay taxes on your property. Yes, you could pay taxes in advance. Yes, you could pay HOA in advance. You can't pay utilities in advance, but you still will be paying even if you pay off your house. So ideally, what's the best bet? Well, if you can put down a higher percentage than 20%, that's great. If you can pay double payments to get it down, the interest in half, then that's great. So that's ideal. Now let's talk about a vehicle. You need a vehicle. Now, what is best to do? Is it best to buy, used? Is it best to buy new? Is it best to lease? My thing is, I personally rather lease because I like to get a new car every 3 years. If that's not you and you enjoy having the same car, then you can buy a car. But realistically, if you're gonna buy a new car, just like a house, except this is even more affordable, one, it's good to get an affordable car. As of right now, affordable car is between $20,000 and $30,000. That's an affordable car. It's also good to get a car that's reliable, either good on gas or electric or hybrid, and then one that has a lot of safety features, because driving is very dangerous and your life is very precious and you only have one life. You don't have 9 lives like a cat. So that being said, it's very important to get a safe vehicle. So, and that's good on gas and efficient and practical, meaning that it can fit more than 2 people. And if you can pay it off right away, then that's great. Then you won't be paying interest. Most dealers say you can pay it off right away. Some say you have to wait 6 months, but that's that. If you have no money to pay off a car, then it's good to lease a vehicle. But why is it good to lease a vehicle? Let's just say you do want to change every 3 years. It's good to meet the requirements and to negotiate. Well, what do I mean? Well, the same car you're paying $30,000 for, or $20,000, whatever, you should be able to negotiate payments between $300 and $400 a month. $300 and $400 a month is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money up front, because you're going to tell them, like, look, I don't want to put any money down. I'll pay, first payment up front, tax, title, and that, but you don't want to pay any money up front. This way you don't have to shell out the money for the vehicle and you can just pay it per month. Let's talk about necessities. You don't have to go out to eat. You can cook. There's many affordable foods, turkey burgers, chicken breast, at the right places. It's good to shop around. It's good to bargain. It's good to use coupons, and it's good to not go to expensive places, but still eat clean and eat healthy. Talk about things that else you need. You don't need makeup. You don't need the most expensive hair products. You don't need the most expensive anything. So what you need to do is to create a budget for yourself. Because realistically, when you work a job, a regular job, they take your taxes out for you. So let's just say you're making $10 an hour, you work 10 hours, that's $100, but realistically they're gonna give you like $80 and say 20 of it's towards taxes. Not only that, when you pay taxes, you're also paying for your retirement. So when you're 65 years old, you collect what is called Social Security, which is currently what they have now, but I don't know if they're gonna have that when you are older. So that being said, it's good to create a budget for yourself to be able to know what you can spend. So here's the deal. If you make $1,000 a week, you make $4,000 a month. It's best to have your bills around $2,000 a month, and then you can spend maybe $1,000 a month, and then you can put $1,000 away to savings. So it's always best to put at least 25% of your bills away for savings. This way you can have that money for something else. Now, this is if you own a house. If you don't own a house, you should be putting about 75 to 80% of your money away for savings, for a car, a house, etc. So I wasted a lot of money, Genesis. Do not make the same mistakes I did. I could make this video so much longer, but I don't want to be into it too much. I also, like I said, I lost tons of money on houses. I lost even more than that, because when I sold the Texas house, I lost money on that too, but I also made money on a house. So that was almost break even. But yeah, it's rough. It's best to stay in one house, buy the one house you like and stay in it for at least 10 years. Keep a vehicle for as long as possible. Try not to buy used, because you might have to fix it, where a new car or a lease car at least has a warranty. So I'll see you in the next one, Genesis. I got you.